Welcome back. Time for another build. This time we are going with the Master Grade Unicorn with the cage. Should be interesting. I haven't done a unicorn before, so I'm looking forward to this one. I was actually looking at the Master Grade Extreme of this, but boy, they want a lot for those LEDs. So decided to go ahead and do this one instead. We'll do the usual. We'll go over and unbox it, time-lapse it out, show it off, and then I'll wrap up at the end talking about it. So let's go get it out of the box. Okay. Box is so big I can barely get this thing in the frame. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Not surprising for unicorn. We're gonna have a lot of white parts. There's some of our decals there. Some of the Psycho frame. Got some blues, more whites. And this looks like a bunch of the parts for the hanger, the action base. That'd be cool to actually have like the base and everything with it. And then our instruction book. Let's see what kind of thing we got here. And of course, the usual. Oh, some very cool art here. Backpack, the weapons, the cage. So we're looking at 33 pages where all the decals go. All right, should be fun. We'll get to it. Okay, let's take a look at what we built. Let's talk about this guy some. And I've got some notes up here so that I can kind of keep track of some of the things. There's a lot to talk about here. So first off, I am going to say I love the cage. I love how it all goes together. It looks awesome. The cage is a complete pain in the butt, honestly. It's like these shoulder pieces keep popping off on me, and they're just little pins and rubber parts, so it's not a big deal to put them back together. But unless you have this thing in a very specific spot, it's really difficult to get it in there. To the point, it's like I took it in and out a couple times playing with it, but this last time I got it in there, I was like, you know what? This is how I'm showing it. This is how it's gonna stay, right? So, cage looks cool, kind of a pain. This Gundam was pretty complicated. I guess I didn't consider the fact, right, that with the whole transform, unicorn, destroyer kind of thing, it has a lot of moving parts above and beyond what you normally find, right? And a lot of moving parts means a lot of things that in the instructions have to go very specific ways. So normally you have a few things, right, with the little attention double quote kind of looking things. It's like, hey, this angle has to go this way, this thick part needs to be on the side, stuff like that. This one has a lot of that going on because, I mean, there's pins and grooves that slide. There's all sorts of spots that pivot and twist and tilt. So it just makes for a lot of that stuff going on. There's also a lot of kind of asymmetrical areas on it that are a little different, right? A lot of Gundams, especially like legs, right? The inside and the outside of the leg are mirror images, really. To the point you get like a little exclamation mark and some arrows. It's like do it on this side and do it on this side. Not the case with this one. A lot of parts have like angled cuts so that when you move it, the cycle frame shows, you know, a little swat of it and that kind of stuff. So it makes it where everything is very different. Even, you know, like the legs, right? Even the instructions, like you'll set like this for, put some stuff over here, the next step, flip it, do some stuff, next step, flip it, next step, flip it. So again, you have to pay attention to the orientation of stuff a lot. The instructions sometimes missed some orders of stuff, or I just got unlucky, one of the two. It does have several of the 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Order things have to go together in, but there were just a couple of spots I ran into where it was like I go to put a part on and a part's in the way. And I go look back at the instructions. It didn't tell me to put them on any order, so maybe I just got unlucky on it. Who knows? The changing modes is touchy and finicky, and there's a lot of kind of fragile parts involved. So I don't think it's something you're going to do very often. It's like once you got it in the mode that you like, that's probably where you would leave it. You have to do some disassembling to kind of get it to do it anyway. So just know that about it. Mine has some loose parts, especially the ankles are really loose. Like unless you're going to stand him straight up, freestanding, that's about all you can do. You need an action base or like the cage, something like that going on, because anytime I got any kind of pose that kind of relied on the ankles to be stiff, it just pivot and fall. The waist and the torso separated just so easy. I mean, literally I could pick him up and the legs and waist would still just be standing there, right? I mean, just like zero friction. So that happened a lot. So I had to put it back together a lot. The dry transfer decals, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. They look good. They really do, but they're just time consuming and cumbersome to put on. And it's like if you don't get it on just right, then when you go to peel it up, a piece comes up, and trying to fix that just doesn't work very well. Just not a fan. I probably put 6 or 8 of them on and then call it quits on that. Just wasn't happy. There were a lot of gates that didn't look like gates. So let me give you some context, right? As I've gotten more builds and stuff going on, I've been trying to spread out. I'm a double cut guy, so I've been trying to spread out how many parts I pull out of the runner and then go back and clean them up and then assemble. So, you know, I try to cut out all the parts for like an arm and then clean them up and then assemble it. There are a lot of gates that are they're square and they fully contact the part. So if I got a clean cut coming out of the runner, then when I came back around to clean it up, it was like, is that a piece of the part, or was that the gate I need to trim and clean? So I'd have to go back to the instructions and be like, should I cut that off or not? And there were several like that. I think probably if I was still doing my step-by-step cut, clean, build kind of thing, I probably wouldn't have noticed it, because it's like, you know, you clip it out and you know exactly where you just clipped it and cleaning up. But extending out how I do that, it just kind of became obvious that it had some gates in it that just, they didn't look like gates by the time I got back around to them. So there was that. I think that's the bulk of the things worth calling out. I mean, I love the look. The cage is awesome. And especially it comes with, you know, some people you could paint up. You can make a really cool kind of, you know, display out of him. So I love that. But of course the question always is, somebody comes to me and asks, I'm probably going to tell you, unless you're really hooked on this cage thing and you really want to do that, I would probably go find a different one. It's just posing him is going to be difficult. The assembly process is difficult. The transforming is a pain. And again, you're not going to do it much. It's just all around. It kind of adds up to me as like, if you're going to spend the money for a master grade, I would probably go look for a different one. And it'll be interesting. I have the Verkov version over on the shelf there. I haven't done yet. So I probably will do it pretty quick, because I'm curious to see kind of how that one compares to this one, because I'm pretty sure the Verkov is a newer kit. And that, I mean, that wraps that one up. So keep the comments, the feedback coming. I love seeing the thoughts and the ideas. And thanks for watching.